Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande is paying a visit to Fort Hare University following months of turmoil at the institution. The minister met with the university's management yesterday and continues with those discussions today. Let's take you live to that event now, where the minister is going to speak.
By Dr. Zikoyan, who is the acting chairperson at this point in time. You may recall I visited Fort Hare in January 2023, even attended the funeral of the late Mr. Vessel. As at that time, by the way, I promised that I was going to meet with the family. I will be meeting with the family, definitely, because I did say to the family, when I come back, I will also meet with the family, just to find out how they are, you know, and what challenges are there in the wake of this tragic incident that they actually lost the father. Of course, there are certain things since then that have happened that are unfortunate here at Fort Hare and in many of our other institutions. 23rd of February, for instance, through University of Fort Hare, female students were mugged and assaulted. And other unfortunate incidents in our universities as well as in our institutions. I also want you to understand my visit to Fort Hare, by the way, not as an isolated thing. Not as something that solely arises out of the fact that I was earlier in the year, but it's part of also addressing the number of governance challenges that we have in our universities. You know that as I'm meeting with you, I'm also dealing with the UNISA matter. There are also challenges at the Mangosuthu University of Technology. There are challenges at UCT. There is a team there that is investigating what is going on. So, as I presented in the portfolio committee also to say, what is it that we are doing to address? So this is part of that. But also it's addressing, I came here to engage on issues that pertain to Fort Hare. Firstly, we are very keen to work together with Fort Hare to stabilize the institution, make sure that it becomes secure. And it must be a secure institution for everyone, not for some. It must be secure for everyone. But as is normally the case, when we are to visit, it comes out. I didn't even issue an early notice to the media to say I'm coming to Fort Hare. But the moment I started organizing coming here, you guys, who have got your own ways, you know, of getting information very quick. And then you start talking about it. Now, when you start talking about it, you add additional problems to me, because then stakeholders start coming to me to say, yeah, Minister, you are coming to Fort Hare, here are the issues. I must say that some of the issues that I tabled today, apart from giving our own report on how far is our assessment of the post-administration period. Let me remind you, after every administration in an institution, we then say, okay, this is what the assessor said, this is what the administrator said. So here is a plan to address all the issues that have been raised. And that's what the university must do. We meet a few times a year with Fort Hare. We also use this opportunity to say, from the report that you have given us, this is our assessment and this is where the challenges is. We are pleased to say that the university is addressing some of the problems and issues that were raised by the assessor as well as the administrator, although there are also still challenges at the same time. I then had letters from the Audit and Risk Committee, which raised issues, amongst others. I don't want to go into detail about that. I raised them with council, you know, that they feel that firstly, there is illegal surveillance at this institution of people, and that they are not getting a detailed report on expenditure on security, which as the Audit and Risk Committee must actually be having about that. I also gotten a report from the convocation raising the issues that they feel that the university is not effectively engaging with alumni. All of these institutions, by the way, they say to me, these bodies, they are committed to fighting corruption, but their major complaint is that they don't feel that the university management and council is making them to be part of the fight against corruption. In other words, they are demanding more inclusiveness. And of course, the issue of cyber surveillance, it's a very serious matter. Now, all these matters I'm saying, I've put them before council and said to council, please deal with them. Please deal with these matters. And I must say we are coming out of here positively, because council said they themselves are concerned that their last two meetings didn't take place, didn't sit. And they committed to me that they are going to sit. And then some were saying, well, if they fail to sit, then they will appeal to me to find a facilitator to help them to sit, because council must sit. They committed to that. Secondly, they committed that they're going to look into all the issues that I raised with them, including those that were being raised by Nteu, the academic staff union, the ex-co of the convocation, as well as the audit and risk committee. They said they are going to look into all those issues and report back to me. That's what we have agreed. And that they are going to give, and also appeal to them that they must make sure, and they agreed, that all points of views in councils must be allowed to be expressed, to debate robustly, and then at the end come together with a resolution. They've agreed to that. They've also, on their own, which I really appreciated, said, the fact that we are getting the convocation, we are getting some academic staff members, unions, and so on complaining, means that as council they have to engage these constituencies, which is very important, that council commits to do that. And we have said, fine, you have our support insofar as that is concerned. There are a number of other issues that they raise. They feel, some of these stakeholders, that there is no democratic culture in campus. And council said they're going to discuss that, they're going to engage around that, engage the constituencies and what the problems are. I'm doing all this with council because, remember, my first port of call is council. So that is the discussion that we're actually having. They are meeting on Tuesday next week. And we agreed they must make sure that the council cooperates and that all issues are discussed, and the council must engage all issues and be able to come out, because that's the only way we're going to have stability at Fort Hare. I must also say this in conclusion, Ishmael, that I'm raising this with the media because media will rely on you a lot. We're sensing that there's some disinformation campaign. Now, I'm old enough, by the way, with a lot of experience in the field. You know, people are saying I've come here because I want to dissolve council of Fort Hare. Now, I know that disinformation tactics can be very clever if we are stupid. The reason why there's this disinformation is to force me to say I will not dissolve the council. I've not come here for that. I've not come here to either consider dissolving or not dissolving. I've come here to say what are the next steps to actually stabilize Fort Hare. I want to plead with the media also, please help us to report accurately. And also identify disinformation campaign that is not helpful at the end of the day. We have a bigger task to ensure that the children of the working class and the poor continue to access university education through Fort Hare. Ngifuna ngizokhuluma ke Ishmael ngangiphi namanzi. Ngize ngoba izwi lami manje li stressed. It's not me stressed here is the voice, the courts that are stressed. So I think that it's important that we actually do that. The one matter, by the way, that I'm forgetting, you are aware that we've held about 2 summits now on security, campus security, with all the universities and representatives from all the universities and all the TVET colleges. We requested that since Fort Hare did not send a representative, can they please send a representative? So that also they participate in that. We gain also from their own experience and so on, because we are giving this issue of campus security a lot of attention. I think that with that, it should be enough now in terms of what I wanted to say. We are all agreed that we must protect the brand Fort Hare. It's a brand, University of Fort Hare, given its past history, and we still want it to play an important role now going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister, for giving us the summary of the statement. I have shared the statement with you, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, on the details that is contained in what the Minister is speaking about. I'll now give you an opportunity to ask clarity-seeking questions with the minding what I've said earlier on when we started. Just brief and to the point. But please firstly introduce yourself. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
All right, that is Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Blade Nzimande, just briefing the media there in East London at Fort Hare University. He says he does recognize that some of the allegations that are coming out in terms of those involved in corruption at the university are quite serious. He says there is an investigation underway. Let me remind you of some of those allegations. In May this year, the fleet manager at Fort Hare University, his name was Petrus Roots. He was killed in a hail of bullets. This after he uncovered corruption in the fleet network of the university. So it is alleged that after uncovering that the people who didn't want to be named as he uncovered this corruption did order somebody to kill them. These are allegations, obviously, and there were 5 people who have been arrested, and that particular case is still ongoing in East London. It wasn't only Petrus Roots who was killed. In fact, the Vice-Chancellor's bodyguard, that is Mboneli Vesele, was also killed earlier this year. He also worked for the Vice-Chancellor at Fort Hare University. And now recently, of course, we found out about the SIU investigation into fraud when it comes to academic qualifications. It included, for instance, your Oscar Mabuyane, the Premier of the Eastern Cape, but he won a court application to not have the SIU investigate his qualification there. What happened there was that there was allegedly a professor who was accepting government officials into the university to study a PhD without actual postgraduate degrees to be able to get into a PhD course. This particular professor was suspended last year in October at Fort Hare University, and of course then all the names of government officials started coming out of the woodworks. Very sad to see Fort Hare University where it is today. This is the university, the only Southern African university that has produced international heads of states. This includes, for instance, your Nelson Mandela. It includes, for instance, your Seretse Khama of Botswana, and Zimbabwe's former president, Robert Mugabe, also studied at this particular university. So it's quite sad to see this type of university with such rich history come into scandal the way that it has in recent months.